Good evening, P560s, Patrick Green. Responding to today's rooted principle, stabilize your heart and mind by remembering that God is in control. And number one is what or who governs your life? First off, God is in control and He's in charge of all the leaders who are responsible and accountable for me. And He allows circumstances to grow my faith, character, skills, and relationships. That's His ultimate goal, is to do those things. Um, and it's usually through tough, uncomfortable trials that allow the greatest outcome. And they're not fun at all while going through them, and it is easy to complain and get negative because the ride is not smooth. But once I'm on the other side, it's always good for me. But at the time, I don't think or feel that way. So what's usually governing my life right now is school, administration, students, parents, clients, and athletes that I'm accountable for, and who are also um, that also hold me accountable and in charge of me. Um, APU is my pastor, my church. Obviously, the government, law enforcement, local, state, national political leaders govern our lives. The law and the Constitution um, also govern our lives. But God's word is ultimately what I'm accountable for. And I was told there's an acronym of the Bible and basic instructions before leaving Earth. So that's what we need to live by. And ultimately, the Bible is ultimately our guide and number one way that God speaks to us. So number two, what or who comforts you when your life feels out of control? Well, God's words and promises. Um, I'm going to read some verses later that I usually go back to. Those are kind of my go-tos. But reflecting when God came through victoriously in my past, this is through journaling I've done in the past, and I refer back to that and I see when I thought things were really hard, I thought I was never gonna get out of it or through it, but and how God is just came through and it was really good. Or notes that I've made. Christian music really helps. I like to listen to lyrics, not just songs that sound good, but um, songs that are easy to cling to, that just remind me of just true things that I need to constantly remember and put into my mind and say and sing. So I like Chris Tomlin songs, Casting Crowns, Jeremy Camp, Aaron Shust, Mercy Me, Mandisa, all really good. Lauren Daigle, really good. Hillsong are just all really good truths songs that they sing that I really hold on to. I like to hang out with people who are strong in their walk, because they have great wisdom and great examples that have gone through things that can give me just hope and things to positive just positive outlooks through that. My wife is a great listener. She gives truth and love, which is great. She sticks by me through it all. Crying out to God in prayer really helps, and just being really honest and vulnerable, telling him like it is. Working out helps stabilize me, and simply going back to the gospel and thinking about the basics that God has saved us, no matter what happens. If He doesn't give us another thing, then that's all. That's enough. But also to think back where we'll be when this life is over due to the cross and His love and not our own doing. And He promises us to provide for us, to feed us, to clothe us, and for our basic needs. And He'll never leave us, forsake us in those. It's important to go back to think about those things when life gets really crazy. Um, some uh, some really good examples there you get from the Word. Psalm 46, and it's kind of what we were reading before in this forum. And it says, God is our refuge and strength, and ever present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her. She will not fail. God will help her at break of day. Nations are in uproar. Kingdoms fall. He lifts his voice. The earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Come and see what the Lord has done, the desolations he has brought on the earth. He makes war cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shield with fire. He says, Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. So that's Psalm 46. Daily go back to Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Romans 8:28 talks about how God works God works for the good of those who love him and been called according to his purpose. So those are some truths that I like to hold on to, and those really helped me. And remembering that, again, God's in control. I like to say that out loud. It's important to remember that moment by moment. It's hard to have victory every second, but it's always good to go back to those when you feel like you're failing, and taking all the thoughts captive and bringing them back to the cross. Um, it's easy to freak out and see the negative and the bad. But when I try to measure up my expectations, my goals, my wants, it's easy to feel ripped off. But if I go back to that humble position that God loves me, He's a giving God. I deserve nothing without Him. It's easier to see that He is the creator and I'm the created. He is the potter, I'm the pot. Um, and His ways are higher than my ways, and His thoughts are higher than my thoughts. And those are some things I continually just to marinate and meditate on when things are going crazy.